Pour the cream, stock and wine into a large wide frying pan. Turn on the heat high. Don't drink the wine, that's tacky. Tear the chicken into shreds with your bare hands. Feel the flesh come off the bone and feel guilty for giving up being a vegetarian. Cut up your vegetables, more than you need. Convince yourself that more vegetables will cancel out the amount of butter you plan on using for your mashed potatoes. Steam on the hob or use the microwave if you're lazy. I've missed this. Just the chaos of this. You know, I mean, I've clearly not done it in a while. The dust on the cookbook alone suggests that I've been like neglecting the art. I'm out of practice, but getting back into it. I remember this cookbook my mum used to have when we were little, and it had this woman on the front cover and she was absolutely perfect. She had like this red dress and she had beautiful hair. She was like not a hair out of place. She clearly had never set foot in a kitchen in her entire life. And we used to pull it out for Christmas and for when people were visiting, and I'd always help my mum by doing something really small like peeling the potatoes. And I remember really enjoying it, which is ridiculous because I hate it now. I'd stand there over the sink for ages with this peeler. And now I'd rather lose half the potato with a knife than actually do that chore. I remember thinking that I was like really helping to the process. But now that I'm like older and doing it myself, I realise that this is just one tiny, tiny fraction of the ridiculousness of preparing a meal like this. But I remember my mum always managed it. Everything was on time and everything was perfect and she never got stressed out about it. She's clearly a freak. Season with as much garlic as you want. You have no one to scare off. Oh, garlic. Oh, that's so good. My first flat I moved into was an absolute shithole. The kitchen was tiny and damp and it was really gross, but I remember being really proud of it. And I invited my parents around for dinner one night, and I made pie, and I spent like 6 hours trying to like prepare for and perfect this recipe, and I was so proud on it. The thing was the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life, and I dropped it coming out the kitchen, and it went everywhere, like chicken and leek carnage all up my walls and mushed into my carpet, and I was inconsolable. I spent an hour like crying. I wanted to show my parents that I was this independent person, and I just couldn't stop crying. They spent about an hour trying to calm me down. You know, in the end we ordered Chinese food and we had a pure amazing night though, so. Strain the stock into a jug, pour into the saute pan, add the corn flour. Not too much corn flour. Oh no. No. Stir until thick. Up the heat. Keep stirring. No, not too thick. No, not too much. Let simmer. Okay, deal with you later. Move on to the next step. If you haven't made a big mess of it, that is. Oh. Oh, God, fucking damn it. I miss everyone so much. My favourite thing in the world was when friends could come round and I could cook a meal for them. There's no better way I have of telling them that I love them. Start again. I'm not ashamed to say that I love food. Not just the eating of it, although that is pretty great, but the ceremony of it too. The history, the secret family recipes, and who sits where at the dinner table, and the times you share with friends. Going out on your own to eat. People watching in a restaurant. Looking after yourself. Remember the first time you cooked anything. Remember who taught you, how far you've come. My granny used to look after me when I was younger. And there used to be this meal that we ate at her place, and I thought it was the most special thing in the world, and it was called bean surprise. This mystical stew that I thought was the tastiest thing ever. It was basically a can of kidney beans, broad beans, runner beans, just mixed beans, baked beans, and one of those cans of beans with the sausages in them already. It's only now that I'm older I realise it's because we had no money. But it was the most special thing to me. And I can still smell it cooking. I still know what that feeling tastes like. Take a deep breath. Smell that? No presentation is ever going to be as good as that smells. So don't worry about how it looks. It was never just the food that made me feel full at my granny's house. Put it all in the oven. Let it rise. Leave the dishes for tomorrow. There can still be ceremony in the kitchen, even when there's no one here to eat what you make. And until I see you again, I'll keep a place set at my table for you. It's not much, but in a little way it makes me feel good to know that we, far apart, are filling up together. Hold your meal in your hands and take a minute. You made this. If that's the only thing that sustains you today, it's enough. Fill yourself